Howdy, welcome back to the Iron Wolf shop. As you can see, I've got the GTO up on the lift, and I thought we would take a look underneath today. Starting in the front, there is the bar that we mount the skid plate to. We've got heavy duty A-arms, heavy duty shocks and springs. Then moving back, there are the A-arms. Then moving back, there's the back mount to the skid plate. So the skid plate covers the transmission and the oil pan and part of the exhaust system. So we boxed in the frame. And it's welded front to rear on both sides. So here are the fuel line and the brake line, both wrapped in rubber hose to absorb shock of rocks and things that might be thrown up. Reinforced rear control arm mounts. Everything back here has been reinforced. Heavy duty drive shaft. We've got the skid plates, the kind of deflection plates on the muffler to keep rocks and things from smashing into the mufflers. And we come back here to the rear, and it's hard to see, but all of the rear has been reinforced. There is now a bar, if you can see it, running from one side to the other to completely box the rear spring mounts and shock mounts to reinforce them. They've also been reinforced on top with steel. Also, we've triangulated the spring mounts. We've run bolts into the axle tubes to reinforce them. See the shock mounts and the axle limiting strap right there. You can barely see it. There it is right there. That prevents the axle from blowing up the shock as it comes down. Of course, we've got mud flaps and rock deflectors to keep the rocks being thrown up at a minimum, both front and rear, to keep the rocks down. We've got, and up here I forgot, we've got a fuel filter water separator. It's a spin-on, it's inside of that PVC pipe. The PVC pipe is there to keep rocks from smashing into the fuel filter. So that is basically what we did to the car. Here is the skid plate installed. So that is just almost 1/4 of an inch thick. It's actually 2 plates, so straight and then a bent one. And it covers, so you can see it covers the exhaust, all the internals basically. And then the front bar covers up the steering box, which is right here, so that's important. So overall, I think it's pretty ready to go. So I thought real quick we could talk about the tires that we're going to be using. They are light truck tires, 215/75 15s, which are 6-ply and then 2-ply on the sidewall. Now these tires are about 28.5 or 29 inches in diameter, and they would not fit under stock GTO fender. So when I was doing body work on it, I cut the fender and then welded it so it would be wider to accept tires. Actually, I was planning on doing 235 75/15s, which are actually about 30 inches, and they would fit. The problem is they were hitting when on full down suspension, they would hit the outside of the fenders. So I went with a little bit smaller and narrower, and these fit just fine. I've never had anything hit, and they don't rub at all. So there you go.